Good
Good
morning,
morning.
guys. Welcome back to We Think Differently. Is That a Problem? Today's show, we're going to talk about the system, broken or working as designed. We hear it all the time. The system is broken, the political system is broken, the justice system is broken, healthcare is broken, education, economy, I could go on and on. But today, I want to ask a different question. What if the system isn't broken? What if it's actually working the way it was designed to work? And if it's working as the design, who was it designed to work for
And why?
and why? Um, America was built around ideals like checks and balances, equal protection under the law, um, representative government, due process, freedom, and justice. We have three branches of government: the legislative, executive, and judicial branches. Design said that they're designed so that not one single branch becomes too powerful. We have elections so the people can choose their representatives. We have courts that are supposed to apply the law when somebody is accused of a crime. So, the question is, how does who does this design work for, guys? So let's have an honest conversation, guys. What's up, bro?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't. I believe it's the illusion of checks and balances, right? I think it works for the people. It's designed to work for the people in power,
Right.
right? And what I mean by that is that, let's just say hypothetically, right? Animals were in power and the same law applied to, whatever. Whoever's the most powerful at the time interacts the law and actually enforces it and so forth. So no matter what the race is or nationality, whoever's in power, that's what it's geared for, right? So I think it's working as designed. I think all this is an illusion. And the reason I can say that is current facts, current history, right? Going to war without permission, simple thing, right? And what I mean by simple thing as into it shouldn't be that simple, right?
Right.
There's supposed to be, meetings and thoughts and agendas and things of that sort. There was none of that. The court of law. I hear the checks and balances, but I think it's against the defendant. I think the checks and balances are actually for the court,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
the prosecutor, which I believe, if you're, the defense attorney is part of the court too. But in all
Mm-hmm.
reality, it's the prosecutor. The judge is supposed to be impartial, but um, I think that's skewed, right? And the reason I think that's skewed is
Mm-hmm.
because they have to be deemed Democratic or Republican in order to get voted in. So right then and there, you're looking at a person that's skewed, not fairness. You see what I'm saying? So
But is perfect fairness really possible? I mean,
I mean,
really.
the idea of perfect fairness. I mean, nothing is perfect other than, I guess, not even creation from a standpoint, because you have people, miscarriages, you have, mentally disabled children and stuff like that. So not even creation is perfect. So I don't think anything can be perfect.
So do you think so? This is how I look at things. I always look at, certain documentaries and, stuff like that. And um what I noticed was, first let me ask you, do you think the Constitution is the problem? Because in fairness, the Constitution, we weren't really included. And I mean, Black people in the Constitution, because it's race, you know. I mean, let's be honest. Um,
Um, you know what? I would have to read up on it more so, but I believe the Constitution really, or the amendments and things, and the Bill of Rights, and then the
mm,
amendments or additions to it.
mm,
Um, I don't think, and I may be corrected in this, is that it does include all, right?
right, right,
It is the supposedly from the most of the things that I've read, it is to include fairness, right?
but it doesn't always mean equal.
In
Would you
part of the
agree?
Bill of Rights, equality is the main part. That's the whole point of the Bill of Rights, is to put in
But
equality.
we
This is the
know
issue.
that.
No, this is the issue. It's kind of like this. We can read a sentence and we can treat it in the way we want. All right. Just
Mm,
like in religion, right? You have they're looking at the same law, but it means one thing to one person and another thing to another person. Some people, as we can relate this to religion, some people will follow, some people will ignore for their benefit,
right.
right? Same thing with laws. Laws are out there, not the ones saying if you look at a white woman, you can be hung. Not that law. I'm talking about,
Yeah,
you
right,
know, I
right.
mean, the true sense of equal laws out there.
Mm,
Some people think that they, or actually decide to follow the law
mm,
fairly, but there's always bias in anything. That's why you have jurors, right?
right.
That's why you have elections. That's why, to mitigate that bias per se. You understand what I mean? But the problem is, um, you know, I think we're skewed to begin with because the bias it's already out there because instead of saying, I believe in the law, I believe in this view of the law, right? Republican, Democrat. I review in this part of the law. I review, or I prefer this. So you're already skewed. There's no equality in that
And
or
it's
fairness.
always,
Fairness.
especially around voting time, it always blows my mind when, if the system is designed to prevent the abuse of power, why always around voting time or, politicians, they come up and always say, oh, the system is rigged, especially when they don't like the outcome. They always like, oh, it's rigged, something happened, this wasn't right, or the votes weren't taken correctly, or,
Mhm.
that just always blows my mind. But this is the system. This the system you chose to be a part of and help the creation of whatever laws we're coming up on, or whatever it is that you felt as though that you were the candidate for this particular position. How do you call it rigged now? That
Well, I
that
mean,
says something to me, like, what do you know?
from a standpoint, I think elections are rigged, and I'll tell you my points, right? Districts, IDs, voting restrictions,
Mhm.
that they place in the areas, depending on the area and stuff. That's skewed. I mean, that's you know, uh, tricking the system or trying to force the system, trying to maneuver.
I got some. I have a. I'm not going to say I agree or disagree, but I have something to add to that, because a lot of people don't realize, and I'm not, when those census papers, or they knock on your door, come to your door, or whatever it is, do I don't know if people realize you should fill them out. That is money going into your county or whatever it is that, whatever jurisdiction line it is. A lot of people don't know what they are. or why to fill them out. Back then everybody filled them out.
Well, you know what the
But
problem is, in all honesty, everybody think the man, can't find you, right?
right,
And that's I'm gonna be under the radar. The man know who you are,
right,
right? Fill out your census, people. Get a voice.
right.
You
Yeah.
ain't hiding from no one.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's that fear. But one thing, right? And this kind of brings it up. The one thing we were brought up with was you don't get if you don't ask,
Right. True.
right? So you don't get if you don't speak up and say I'm here, right? And
Right.
that's part of the census, right? I'm
Right.
here,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, good point. Good point.
Yeah. 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 Another thing, I have in my county is magistrate or judges that get elected. I truly believe that should be all around the board. I think every judge should be elected. Nobody should, I mean, I'm talking about Congress, Senate, whatever. The president, I don't think they should have the choice to appoint. And I think their terms should be limited. I really believe because at some point you lose focus of reality when you're sitting in a term when you're I think that's anywhere and you're never adapting to change and I'm talking about society, the world, you know I don't think it should be a term on it. At some point that you cannot sit on this bench any longer or and I mean the whole system, everybody should have a term. Just like the president have a term, everybody should have a term. At some point, your limit should be, hey, you get 3 years or 4 years or 5 years or however way, however many years. I definitely believe in everybody should have a term. Supreme Court, justices, Congress, all of them should have terms. There's no way that this man that's been there since 1982 should still be in Congress.
Mhm.
I don't I disagree with that. I truly do. I don't think you adapt.
I mean, are you saying that affects the fairness, the illusion of
Yeah,
fairness?
I absolutely do.
How?
Absolutely. I just said they don't adapt. They get stuck in their ways. They get stuck in their minds, in their ways, and how they live. They don't look at how society has either changed or whatever the case may be. I don't believe they look at that. They get stuck at that certain point when they got in. They don't change. They don't know how to change. They don't adapt to change. That is a problem for me. I think they should have terms.
I put it to you like this. If you're saying that older people are less fair with the law than young people, I have to disagree.
So that's not what I said. I said all of them should have terms.
Okay, but you were
You should
specifically
have
talking about a
a
person from 82. So that's the
yeah.
way I took it. The way I look at it is that no matter who's in there, it's the illusion of fairness,
Mm,
right? The law, I mean, it's doesn't matter who's in there, right? It's the illusion of fairness. If because how now we might have more innovative ideas and people with less prejudice
mm,
that might as they become younger, right? Because I can see older people living an old life or whatnot, but in today's world, you can still have a young fascist, you can still have a young racist. So, you know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying. I just think that too many of these guys sit too long. on
Guys and girls, like, I
guys
mean,
and girls. Yeah,
yeah,
I believe
yeah.
they all sit too long, way too long,
No, I
and
mean,
there should
listen,
be
I mean,
terms on it.
the lifespan of a CEO is normally between 4 to 7 years. All right.
Yeah, yeah,
President can only serve 8 years max, two
right.
terms. I don't see anything wrong with that ideology that everybody's on a term or everybody has to get. The thing is, the way the government is set up is that, you know, if they get voted in, they get voted in. Um, but yeah, I mean, 2 terms, and then everybody, is on the same thing. Um, that'd be a good mix. Just like when does it happen and so forth would be different. But I still think the system is skewed to give you the false illusion of fairness, right? Um, if you tell the truth, you'll be okay. I think that's false,
Right, right.
right? Um, if you follow the law, things work out. That's false. Um, there's always the exception, I guess, in the system, but I don't know. Disappointment shows me, or life shows me, what I'm told and what I see are two different things,
Mm, mm.
right? So it's kind of like if you try to keep telling me something, eventually you hope I believe it,
Do
and
you,
I think that's the
I don't want to say, let me ask the viewers, should there be an age limit for elected officials? I want you guys to comment on that. We're not talking about age discrimination, but we're talking about pretty much, do you believe some people, and I'm not just talking about politics, it could be in your work environment also. Do you think some people are too old for their position? Do you think some people are too young for their position? Where's the in between? You know what I mean? Because are older workers overlooked? Um, Elected
you know
officials
I,
that are still
and yeah, I mean, I
judges.
guess you're stuck on this old young thing, but I think with older people you have knowledge and you have wisdom.
Mhm.
Young people, you have energy and gusto and new
So you
ideas.
think more experience is more valuable than youth?
Didn't say that. What I said was is that one group brings one, the other group brings another. I think there should be a mixture, right? That's why you have elections. I don't think that all young people, it can only be young people in government. I think that
Right,
would be a mistake.
right,
And
right.
I think,
I
it
agree
shouldn't
with
be
that. I
everybody
mean,
over 65 in the government. I think that's a mistake. There, just like anything else, right? You ask for diversity in life in general, right? I
mhm,
want women involved. I
mhm,
want, different cultures and races involved. So
right.
same thing should go with age.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with some of it, but I just want to hear other people's thoughts about it. I think a lot of people believe that the Constitution is sound.
Is
Um,
what?
is sound. A lot of people believe the Constitution is sound.
Okay.
Some, do I think it live up to the principles? No. Um,
What principles does it not
as
live up?
far as race, as far as, discrimination period, as far as um, everything that's in, incentives and imperfect, all of it. Um, Bias. I don't believe the Constitution was written as them being biased about everything. I believe that, it
Bias,
was designed.
bias about everything, or
Um,
not bias.
uh,
This
I
the
don't think
what
the
no,
system
what I
naturally
think you
reflects
what I
human
think you
nature.
mean what I think you mean, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that they wrote it inclusive because they said all,
Right. Right.
okay, but they didn't mean you.
Right.
I mean, I get your
Right.
point, right? But what I'm saying is the words are all,
Right.
right? The thing is, like I said, one person can read something and think something, and
Mm-hmm.
another person, one person decides to not even live by it, right? And still think of the alley. It says all people are, all people should, so if we're talking about people being biased against others, they're looking at that saying all my people, not all people.
I, you know, I think from the time we were kids, we were taught that, America was built on fairness. I mean, remember we used to stand in the class and do the Pledge of Allegiance? We used to
No,
we
we
used
were
to
taught
have
that
the
at school. We weren't taught that at home.
we were taught that at school. Yes.
Yeah,
We were taught
yeah.
um
Home didn't teach us that. Home said
right.
it ain't fair.
It was that, they, in school it was liberty and justice for all. You know, I think as we got older and we got out on our own, I think, we all started to really look at, are the rules really the same for everyone? Or do factors like money, influence, race, age, politics, does that
You know
social
what? And
status
that's probably
change how those rules are applied?
that's why I'm so happy I went to a mixed school
Mhm.
and grade school and high school because I already knew that the world wasn't the same.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sometimes, like a lot of people say, hey, I wish I grew up around all my people.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's a
Mhm.
disadvantage in life.
Right. But you know what? I want to make sure people understand also that fairness and equality are not the same. They're totally different things. Even though, we have this justice system, we have this, this constitution, we have these three levels of government, fairness and equality is just not the same. A lot of people can get them confused and think that, we're talking about, the fairness of the system. The system could be designed to be fair, but it does not have equality. That's my opinion. It could be designed to be fair, but there's no equality in it, meaning not everybody gets the same treatment from the system.
Right. I mean, the thing is, the system is geared, like I said, right? Like we've been saying, the system, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution is set up to be fair,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
But
Right.
but the action of it, the execution of it, because it's by people, it's
Mhm.
not equal,
Mhm.
right? I mean, because that's what it is, the execution of it. The words are there, it's not executed.
Yeah. Not- you know, I want to share something with you guys. A couple weeks ago, I served on a jury, and I talked to my brother about this, and he broke it down to me. But I had a question as far as while I was sitting there, and something kept bothering me because we're always told that the defendants are entitled to a jury of their peers. But I started looking around the courtroom and thinking, what exactly makes me this man's peer? Because, you know, this defendant was already incarcerated. He was facing aggravated assault and aggravated robbery. Never been arrested. I've never been incarcerated. I don't know what his life has been like. He doesn't know what my life has been like. And I was wondering, like, are we, is this misunderstood? Like, what do you mean a jury of your peers? Um, I'm about to kind of broke it down to me. I'm gonna let him kind of, say exactly what they meant by a jury of your peers. Um, it didn't necessarily mean that you had the same life as them because it wouldn't make sense. If you had a jury of your peers say, this guy is incarcerated, he's an inmate, um, you can't have all inmates on the jury, right? That just wouldn't make sense, right? So I had to look at it like that. If it was somebody a medical malpractice for a doctor, you can't have all doctors on the jury. So, it was kind of interesting talking about that. Um, I think it's something everybody should do. Answer your jury notice. Go. It was a really great experience. Answer it. Answer those and go to them.
Whatever.
I mean,
No, man, I
it's
just hope,
supposed to.
I don't want, I mean, I did jury duty a couple times and so forth. It's all right.
Mm,
I mean, it's not like one of them. I mean, it's an experience that you need to have in order to understand the system, right? To see how slow it is,
mm,
right? To get
definitely
empathy for
is.
the person that's locked up, right?
Mm,
Because it takes a little bit of time sometimes to decide who the jury is. And
right.
sometimes that person's still incarcerated. I got
Mm,
more sympathetic doing jury duty than I did anything else. But anyway, um, yeah, I mean, in order to be fair, right? It was the right thing
mm,
to do. But,
right.
was it equal? I don't know the judge. I don't know the makeup of the jury. Was it, you know, nothing can be
Well, what I
totally
found
equal.
out was what I realized the jury isn't supposed to understand what it's like to commit the alleged crime. They're supposed to determine whether the government proved that the defendant committed it beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
And beyond a reasonable doubt, what I also learned was in you you really have to look at the law if you're going to be on a jury because aggravated assault is a total different meaning. What I thought it was, it no, aggravated assault is like you assaulted that person and left permanent damage on them. Like they can't function in life anymore the way they used to. That blew my mind. So if that person can still, and I was trying to figure out why his attorney had showed all the victim's medical records stating there was nothing, wrong with this person. Their wounds had healed. I'm putting it in layman words, like their wounds had
Great.
healed,
What degree
you know,
was it?
huh?
Aggravated assault. What degree?
There wasn't a degree. It was just aggravated
Aggravated
assault
assault.
and
All right.
conspiracy to aggravated assault. Um,
Would they jump them?
Yeah, it was just so odd. The victim was, it was so odd because these people were incarcerated already. They were already inmates. So
Mm-hmm.
they caught a charge in jail while they were serving time. So that was just, it was an experience. I mean, it really was an experience.
No, I
I was
got
like,
you.
wow. The laws are very detailed. Let me say that. You have to read that law. Read the law. Don't just speak out of your mouth thinking you know what that law is, because I never knew what that meant. And that means like you left permanent damage or it was fatal. Aggravated assault is a really big charge, and you got to be very careful.
Shit, if it
And
was fatal, it'd be murder.
yes, it would be, or aggravated murder. It's so many different levels to aggravated assault, aggravated murder, aggravated robbery. I'm like, wow, you really need to know the law to understand what it is, to understand what's going on. You know, the whole process it was just kind of blew my mind. I think it's a slow process, like you said, but the whole process was really, really interesting. It was informative. I really thought we was in Law and Order. I was in there in my head bitten off of everybody. I was laughing in my head. I was like, wow, this is when they showed the pictures of him and his injuries and everything. This is real live stuff. When they sat there and put his defense attorney had a whole stand of the view of the prison, the day room, the cell. I was in there like, yo, this is real Law and Order. I was in there laughing at the prosecution attorney. He was shocked. The lady that his defense attorney, man, they really came out with an opening statement, and it was really like it was TV.
Let me ask you a question.
Uh,
Do you think that system that you were participating in and you was it fair? Did it give you the
I,
illusion of fair, or do you feel that it was fair?
that's a good question. Um, I don't. I think this is what I got from it. Ask the questions as far as if you don't know what the law is. Ask the question for the law. This really is, I guess, in whatever them law books or whatever the judge had. This stuff is really, written down. I think the fairness come in if every person, and I'm just talking about in a jury setting, if every person actually really does know what that law really means to give that judgment. Do I like to say the word judgment? I really don't, because I don't want to, I really didn't want to judge anybody. I
No,
think you can be biased about it
my
once
question
you know.
was, do you think that the thing that you just did was that process fair?
Yes. Yep, I do. I have to say I do. I mean, because I knew it was, a bunch of BS as far as the defendant and the victim. You know, they were in there fighting over commissary. I don't think it was commissary. I think the boy owed them something out of commissary, But I think in that particular case, I believe it was fair. I believe that judge was fair. But I was in that particular case. Can I say every case is fair? No, I can't. In that particular case, I believe it was fair. Does every courtroom go like that? I don't know. That was my first time ever doing
Yeah, but
it.
the thing is, what I'm looking at is a couple things. One is that you believe it was fair.
Mhm,
Two is listening to everything and figuring it out. You are a peer,
mhm,
right?
yeah, yeah, mhm,
Um, and right, you don't have to be in prison or in jail to figure. You see what I'm saying? So, when we were talking about peers earlier, basically, you can look at age, sex, blah blah blah. You can count any of those categories as a peer,
right, right.
right? Normally it goes by area, jurisdiction. So I'm assuming, I don't know, it was a prison in the area.
Right.
or jail in the area or whatever.
Mhm.
So I mean that does that. Um, but this is the key, right? Was it fair or was it equal?
Mhm.
You
Well,
see what
see,
I'm saying?
I can't answer that with that particular case because I don't have anything to go against it. You know what I mean? I don't have a second part. Like that was my first experience
To compare
dealing
it
with,
to.
something so to be included in something like that. I don't have another situation where I could say, no, that wasn't fair. I don't have nothing to compare it with.
No, it was
So
fair. It was fair. You said
I
it
felt
was
like it was fair.
fair.
Yeah.
Right, 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 right.
Mm.
You know, but equal, so you know,
Can a jury technically really satisfy the law while still not feel representative of that person being judged? You
say that
know,
one more time.
can a jury technically satisfy the law while still not feel representative of the person that's being judged? You know what I'm saying? Like how I felt at first. You know, it could be many people that feel like that on a jury. Like I ain't this man's peer. Like, how can I even judge this person? I don't know what his lifestyle was. Um,
I mean, we getting off topic, but that's funny to
I mean,
me.
it becomes,
No, no, it's funny
it,
to me because we judge people every damn day.
yeah,
People we don't know, people we see on TV, people walking down the street. I bet you they do this. I bet you know what I'm saying.
right,
So
right.
then, when it comes down to it, right? It's I don't can't judge it when there's consequences.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Then we start, but we're judgmental, and there are consequences to our judgmental behavior. But jury is a normal thing, I think, in society.
yeah, I guess it is normal. A lot of people don't know if it's normal, but we say nobody is above the law. Everyone is presumed innocent. Everyone receives a fair trial. Justice is blind. You have your jury of your peers. But how consistently do human beings actually deliver on them? You know, is the system really unfair?
The system is geared to think. Well, let me put this: the basic or the bill and all that. That's for fairness. The system, the laws after that, it depends because again, like I said, it's skewed from the beginning because we're asking. What I mean? It's kind of like, and maybe more people understand it this way. It's kind of acting, or asking a atheist to run a Catholic school,
Mm, mm,
right?
mm,
That's what it seems like. Like we're telling people to be fair,
mm,
right? Treat everybody as equal,
right.
right? But I only believe in this way. I
Mm,
only believe in this way. But treat everybody equal. That's impossible.
right.
It's impossible, right? That's why you have laws out there just to kind of hinder people. The problem when it comes into play is the power of the people in play, right? You
Mm,
can be so powerful to whereas you can go to war without nobody approving you.
right.
you
Right.
can you can bring up, you know, 150, 350 billion trillion dollars in debt and
Right.
be like, we had to, you know, you can be told I can walk down the street and shoot someone and I'll get away with it.
Mm,
You can be told that a young boy goes missing and nobody knows what happened.
right.
You can be told that a bunch of girls invite a special needs girl over for a slumber party and basically drug her and torment her and beat her, and until it's shown on camera that they let out, there's
Right.
no fairness, there's no equality. But the
Yeah.
system, right? What will happen to those? But if you flip that situation, you know, that equality and that fairness is gone
Mm.
because of the people in power. And that's a
But
damn
you know what and you may disagree with me on this. And I think, you know, I said to you that, I had a problem um with judges, and I believe anything that's political should have a term. You know, anybody that's sitting on the bench, anybody that's sitting in Congress, Senate, all of it. I believe
right.
everything should have a term. But you know what gets me? What gets me is we came up with a form to kind of give some of these lawmakers to adapt to certain influences. And I kind of agree with lobbying. I kind of agree with that because it's almost, and I know, are are some lobbyists out for self, could be, I don't know. But I kind of agree with it because they are the people that's representing, I feel like, us, the regular people. I feel like if they're there to try and influence the change of law or something, you know, they're not just people that's walking in there. No, they're actually connected to some kind of corporation or some kind of organization or something to make sure that, hey, we think this law should be changed, this regulation, this policy, or whatever it is. I kind of agree with lobbying. I think it's a good form, just pretty much a petitioning in the government.
Right.
I wish I could be one.
No, you should want to be one. They make a lot of money selling their soul. Um,
You said selling their soul.
yeah, I
I
don't
don't
believe,
think
yeah, yeah.
that.
First of all, I 100% disagree with you.
Tell me about
Um,
your disagreement.
huh?
Give me your disagreement.
Oh,
Why you
yeah.
feel that way.
The thing is that that's why you have people vote you in,
Mm,
right?
mm,
To get the feel of the people. That's why you should have committee meetings, city hall meetings, stuff like that, to
mm.
get the feel of the people, not the
So right,
corporation, right? The
right.
corporation has never taken care of the people. The corporation has always taken care of the corporation
Mm.
and
Well,
what
that's what they
laws actually benefit them.
But that's what they're there for. Whatever that
Right,
corporation
right.
is, they're
But what
lobbying
what
for
what
that
I'm saying is
corporation.
that the
It could be
corporation the
farmers.
corporation doesn't represent the people, Shelley.
Yes, I'm not saying the corporation. Whatever it could be farmers. It could be farmers that's looking for something, whatever their laws are. They need some kind of that law to change to continue doing what they. It is. I don't agree that it's just about corporations. It's labor unions that they have their lobbyists up there trying to get, and that's for the working man. That is for the middle class. So I don't think it's just for that corporation. And if it is for that corporation, that's what they're lobbying for, whatever rights they're looking for.
Well, first of all, this is the thing. All right. I don't believe Well, I believe that, and this is where I disagree with you as into the current lobbying system. Let me put it that way. I believe people should be able to reach out, voters and things of that sort, special interest group and that sort of thing. The issue that comes into play is the power of the lobbyists. A
Mm,
word is a word. Money is different. When you have these lobbyist groups paying, contributing, adding to the wealth of
right,
things of that
right,
sort, that's
right,
bribery,
right.
right?
That's bribery. Yes.
The credit unions do it, the farmers unions do it,
Mm,
and all that. So that's the part that I disagree with. I don't disagree with special interests. I disagree with the power and the money. Perfect example. What is it? The gun association, right?
yes. Mm. They
That,
were the biggest lobbyists. I
right.
already know that one.
You
Yes.
know what I mean? So, I mean, that's the part that I disagree with, the power that they have.
Mm, okay. All righty.
So, anyway, people, tell us what you think about lobbyists. Let us know. I think there's good lobbyists. I mean, you know, I tell you this, guys, if you ever want to really get a good idea of politics, one of the best shows out there is The West Wing. It's an old TV show. Um, Fantastic story, but it really explains the laws, how it goes about, what they got to go through the Senate, judiciary, and that sort of thing. Right now, we are not living anything that we have planned out. All right. The powers of play are at havoc. And seriously, there's no equality, there's no fairness. Basically, it comes out is that if you have money, you're better off and stay your butt out of trouble. Because if you're looking for the world to work it out for you and everything work out, you're going to be very disappointed. That's sad to say, but that's my opinion.
Mm.
All right. So is that it, Joe?
As far as
Hmm?
as far as lobbying. Hmm?
No, the discussion, baby. Is that because
Oh,
you was just
I actually was looking at something. I was reading something. I was looking at the First Amendment, actually the Bill of Rights. I was looking at my fault, kind of went into something else.
yeah, it's a good time. I guess a better time than ever, right? Darn show, but
So,
I
does
mean,
the First Amendment really mean you can say anything? That law, as far as the First Amendment has First Amendment speaks about speech. Um, I think social media has, I don't know if social media has become the judge and jury or, now it's so big and so wide. Like, you cannot be punished under the First Amendment just because they didn't like your opinion. You can't be punished for it. I mean, we are in Trump era now, so I don't know. 'Cause who was the guy that came off the show? He took them off the air because of the jokes he made about him. He came back on the air. Who was that? I forget who he was. But he one of the I think his talk show comes on at night. Can't think of who he was.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Was it him? I think yes. I think it was him. Yep. Remember he was off the air for it wasn't that long, but he came back because of what he said about Trump.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is not under the First Amendment. That should have never been done. Um, but Can you really say what you want to say? You know what I mean? Can you really say what you want to say and not be punished for it?
No, I mean, listen, there are protections. I mean, you have slander,
Hmm.
right? You can be sued for slander.
Okay.
Slander is when you make up something about someone that's false, right? So you can't say whatever you want to say,
Mm. Okay.
right? So I mean, there are restrictions on this, but you just can't blatantly lie on someone. Also, you have perjury in the court of law.
Hmm.
If you get caught lying, so you just can't say what you want, but you can express your opinion.
Right.
That's the fair speech part, right? Um, and in that, they say there shouldn't be any malicious or actions in that mentioning, right? But you know, you got people saying, "Oh, this is one thing." Like some guy said, we're in this war because the people over there say they hate America, kill America, right? That's freedom of speech by a whole country,
Mm.
right? Supposedly. But then they say also in
Freedom
that
of
same
speech
thing,
from who?
Iran, the war we're in, kill
They not
America.
Americans. Yeah,
Huh?
they not Americans. What you mean freedom of speech from a whole country?
Meaning,
They don't have the
just
same
because
laws.
Iran says it is, we still believe in freedom of speech, just not freedom of speech for us. We
Right.
believe in freedom of speech. So if Iran says we hate America and we
Mhm.
go to war because of that, we're going against freedom of speech.
But freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences. You see what I'm saying?
So, so
Just
you can
because the
also,
speech,
you're not, so you have one group saying, kill America, we go to war with them. You have North Korea that's been saying that for 50 years, kill
North
America.
Korea, we blow them off that island is, come on, North Korea, you got to be kidding me. North
Dude,
Korea,
North Korea is like almost the third, if not the second most powerful
it is
country.
not. Who told you that? They
War,
don't have nothing nowhere near America. America is the number one military, is the number one most powerful military in the world. In the world. I don't know where you get North Korea. North Korea doesn't even have distant missile. They're still trying to get a missile that'll fly across the ocean. What do you mean, North Korea? Where did you get that from? You think North Korea could beat America? Stop looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm trying to figure out where did you get such. Why is everybody so scared of North Korea?
you
America is that's the illusion for y'all. We
you
are
should read
not
up on
we
it.
are not scared of North Korea.
I didn't
We
say
can
that.
blow
Yo,
North
yo, yo,
Korea
yo.
off.
First of all, that's bull because we're gonna pick on little Iran, which we haven't won yet.
Iran is something.
Which we haven't won yet.
First of
Which we
all,
haven't. And
first
this
of
is the
all,
third. And this is the
we
third
should
go
not
around.
even. First of all, I'm not going to disagree with some of what you just said. First of all, Iran, we should never put troops on the ground there. That's number one.
You should
We
read up
can
on North
we
Korea.
cannot fight troops on
You
the
should read
ground
up
with
on North
Iran.
Korea. You should
Huh?
read up on. You should read up on North
I have
Korea.
read up on North Korea. We are not going to lose to North Korea. North
Okay.
Korea does not have
And
nowhere
folks,
near.
tell us what you feel about that. And
Yes,
now I'm not saying America's weak, but what I'm saying is,
America
and
is
people.
super.
You got one dude that will look at two different people. They'll say the same thing, and they'll pick the weakest dude to beat up. That's what America's doing right now
No,
because
we've
we
been
can't
fighting.
handle North
We've
Korea.
been fighting
That's why
them
anything
for
and everything that they do, folks, we don't mess with them.
how many
That's
times?
why.
How many
But answer
times?
this in the chat. What do y'all
How
think about
many
North Korea?
times have
She
we
thinks
went
they
over
don't
to
have
Iran?
They don't have
How many
missiles to go
times
across
have
the
we
ocean.
went over to Iraq?
What'd you
We've
say?
been fighting Iraq war for, I don't even know if it's been said. How many times have we went to Iraq?
Since
Iraq,
Bush?
Afghanistan.
Since
Like
Bush?
how many? Yes,
Since Bush?
but no, it might have been before Bush. We've been over there
Not
a lot
Iran.
for
All right.
quite a few times.
Mm-hmm.
North Korea means nothing to us.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have anything we want.
Okay.
We're not we don't care about North Korea.
Oh, yes,
North
we do.
Korea they don't have anything we want.
Okay. And that's the
I mean,
problem.
that's my opinion. That is
And I
my
know, and I
opinion.
disagree.
I think
I
America
disagree.
is the most powerful military in the world.
Who's that?
America.
Okay.
We have the most powerful military in the world.
Okay.
I don't know where North Korea came on even the top 10. I don't know who said that or where that came. Matter of fact, let's look it up.
Go ahead. Look it
Let
up.
me see.
Nations listed in war power.
North Korea is not even in the top
Yeah,
five.
actually, I'm sorry. I meant South Korea. Sorry.
That makes a big difference. That
Yeah,
makes a big
it
difference.
actually does. I got my Koreas
Yeah,
mixed.
thank you. That makes a big difference. That's why I'm like, who the hell told you North Korea could beat us?
I got my Koreas mixed up. Sorry, people.
Yes, that makes a big difference. All right.
South Korea.
Makes more sense. Makes more sense. Okay. But again, United States is number one.
That's because we looking. No, that's nah. I personally don't
We
believe
are
that's
a
true anymore either.
superpower. We are a superpower nation.
That's it because we're
We are
looking at
number
Google.
one.
Yeah, we're looking at the United States propaganda.
Why?
I don't believe we're number one. Just because we spend a lot
Why?
of money, that don't mean nothing.
Mm. They got United States number one, Russia number two, China number three, India number four, and South Korea number five.
Yeah. Again, I don't believe in the United States, and also I don't believe in Russia. That data is old.
They can't even fight Ukraine. I mean, beat Ukraine. So I kind of agree
So
with that. I
yeah,
don't think
so
Russia
I'm
is
going.
number two.
Sorry, folks,
We
South
kind of got
Korea,
off
but
the
I'm going
topic.
with
Yeah.
South Korea and China.
Yes. All right. That makes a big difference. Because I thought you was insane. I'm like, what?
Listen,
North
you've been
Korea.
right one time in your life. Suck it up.
Oh my gosh. You really be trying to play me, dude. You really be trying to
Look,
play
I'm
me.
just saying. You brought it up, and I gave you credit. I said I was wrong.
Okay. All right. If that's what you say.
No, I did.
I mean,
But you brought it up
that's a
five
good
times.
discussions. That is
You
a
brought
good
it up
discussion.
and I was thinking like that's crazy, and I was thinking that's crazy. All right, nigga. All right. You've been right one time in your life. All right. I said I was wrong.
I think that would be a good discussion too.
What's that? Most powerful country?
Yeah.
It ain't the US. That's
It is.
falsehood.
It is. It is.
Mm-mm.
I think so.
Yo, did you see that one I sent you about the earth being flat?
I haven't looked at it. I opened it, but I wanted to look at it. I didn't have time to really sit and listen to it.
Listen to it
I
because
wanted,
these are
yeah, because
pilots.
I wanted to hear about that.
These are pilots. So remember the last discussion we had, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, astronauts say this and whatnot, blah, blah, blah,
Right,
blah, blah.
right,
Remember
right.
what you said to me? they
Right,
would
right.
know
That's
they're
their
not
job.
involved,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Now, these are pilots saying it.
All right, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. I think it did spark my interest, but I couldn't sit down and give
My
my full
interest.
attention to it.
All right.
Listen, y'all, as we close today's conversation, I want to leave everybody with one question. Is the system broken or is it working exactly as designed? Today, we talked about our government and its checks and balances. We talked about freedom of speech, lobbying, and political influence. We talked about our justice system and what it really means to be judged by an impartial jury. And we even talked about the enormous, and then military power America holds
False.
and the responsibility that comes with that power.
What responsibility?
We really going to touch on that topic. We're going to touch on that topic. We're going to come back with that one.
Hey,
That's going to be a
folks,
good one.
also one thing is that we plan on doing a live show eventually. We
Mhm.
want some topics that you guys want us to talk about live.
Right.
All
Yeah.
right. So put some topics out there. Tell us what you guys think and so forth
Yeah.
and so on.
We
Also, we got
going
some ideas coming to the podcast channel. We'll put some feelers out there, see what you guys
mhm.
think, see if you like it. Other than that, we appreciate you.
Yes. Yes, guys. We definitely appreciate you guys. Send your comments and hit that subscribe button. We need y'all to subscribe, okay? Hit that subscribe button.
You gotta start telling people.
Yeah, I am telling people. I work in the area that you tell people. I guess, oh, you gotta find that niche
I'm
that
gonna put it on you put it on your Facebook?
I don't even use Facebook, man. I gotta look on there and see who the people are on there. I don't
Mm.
even use I
All righty.
stopped being on Facebook a long time ago. But anyway, guys, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. And give us your comments. We are going live, so let's get some comments, guys.
It's an illusion out there, people. There ain't no fairness.
And remember, don't just accept the system, question it, understand it, participate in it. Participate in it. And most importantly, keep the conversation going, guys. Love y'all.
Peace.